Coming up on ATV News.
Word of mouth isn't fast enough for our society anymore.
Find out what app could help you be in the know during emergencies.
How do you drive around people in crosswalks? That could change after you see what Logan PD is doing.
Is this parade going to happen in 2020? We'll tell you what the City Council decided.
April is off to a rainy start, and I'll show you how long you can expect these guys to stick around.
The men's tennis team has players from all over the world. We'll show you how they're all over conference in sports.
All that and more, this is ATV News. Welcome to this edition of ATV News. I'm Josh Witzel.
And I'm Zachary Idle. Another former USU football player is being charged with rape just days after the Tory Green sentencing. Lamar Anthony Dawson was charged Tuesday in 1st District Court with 1 count of first-degree felony rape. A warrant for his arrest states the incident happened on February 14th, 2019. Dawson has not been arrested yet.
If you had Monday classes in the Life Sciences building, you may be catching up today after a gas leak interrupted your lecture.
Definitely grabbed my hard drive and my laptop. I have that on me now.
People evacuated the Life Sciences building and University Inn after receiving a code blue alert around 11:40 a.m. Landscape workers tried planting this tree but hit a gas line while digging the hole. A USU spokesperson said the workers contacted USU police and the Logan Fire Department, who shut off the gas valve. Classes resumed after 30 minutes.
There was an emergency alert sent out, so we wanted to take it seriously when the aroma of gas is as strong as it was. As a precautionary note, they wanted people out of the areas.
How many apps do you have on your phone? You might want to add one more. ATV's Ayana Likens joins us live in the newsroom to tell us about an app that could help you be more informed in an emergency.
That's right, Zachary. It's available on the App Store and Android's Google Play. This is what the app looks like. It's called Code Red. I'll show you how it can help keep you and your family safe during emergencies. That's the sound your phone would make when you receive a Code Red alert.
I feel safer and I feel it puts me in a mode where I feel like I can help.
Logan PD says that's the goal of the system. They use it through an app to tell people about emergencies.
We really don't have time to waste, and in any emergency, one of the biggest factors is time and communication.
Word of mouth isn't fast enough for our society anymore.
Logan PD says 1 in 5 people in Cache Valley are signed up for Code Red. Carlisle says she is surprised more people aren't signed up because
the only way I would find out about something that's going on is if it's right in front of my face or if my family has the chance to call me and tell me about it.
It's definitely something that we need to increase.
To sign up for Code Red, you can use their app. By just putting in your email and creating a password, the app will use your phone's location and send you an alert if there's an emergency near you. During a police chase last month, Logan PD says they sent out a Code Red warning people in the area. Carlisle says when she received the message,
the first thing I thought was, well, I guess I better watch the roads, watch the cars that are driving past so that I can help.
But for those who didn't receive the alert, they told Logan PD that
they definitely would have been willing during that message a few weeks ago to turn on their lights and to look out in their yards, and it does. It creates holes, and it could have been, a better response.
On a Facebook poll, out of 312 people, 271 of them said that they have never heard of Code Red. And 41 people said they used it. But people say if they knew what it was, it would be useful.
Probably just the lack of knowledge of it. Now that I know what it is, I'm sure I'm going to sign up for it.
LCPD says they hope more people sign up in the future.
I would challenge people either throughout their families or throughout their work environments to just check with everybody and help each other through the process, and it really will pay off.
Once you download and register the app, it starts working immediately to let you know about emergencies near you. Reporting live in the newsroom, Ayana Likens, ATV News.
Thanks, Ayana.
Have you ever crossed a busy intersection that didn't have a stoplight? Did you feel unsafe? The Logan City Police Department is looking for solutions to help drivers look out for pedestrians so you can feel more comfortable crossing the street. 2 plainclothes officers used this crosswalk at the busy intersection to see if drivers were yielding to pedestrians. Officers waited in patrol cars on both sides of 400 North to pull over drivers who weren't following the law, totaling 88 during the exercise. LCPD says the state required the exercise and was strictly educational, not for generating revenue. LCPD says drivers that had been pulled over were issued citations and warnings, but not all pedestrians thought this exercise was necessary.
I've never really felt like I was in danger walking on the sidewalks or on the roads here in Logan. Like it's not that busy of a town.
About an hour before the exercise was scheduled to end, 3 cars were involved in a car crash at the same intersection. Reports say the driver was not paying attention and rear-ended the car in front of him. Drivers walked away with minor injuries.
Logan police weren't the only ones trying to raise awareness about crosswalk safety. South Salt Lake City Council member Corey Thomas held what she called a honk and wave after 3 people were hit in crosswalks near this area of 33rd South and West Temple in Salt Lake. Protesters held signs like these, asking drivers to pay attention to crosswalks and to look out for pedestrians.
It's getting warm out and there's more pedestrians that are going to be out on the roads and cyclists, and I want the drivers to be aware around them.
This was the 2nd year that Thomas ran this event, and she says she wants pedestrians to stay safe.
The last combat troops left Vietnam 46 years ago this week. Out of the almost 400 Utahns who didn't come back from Vietnam, 8 were from Cache Valley. Vietnam veterans and civilians gathered around the memorial at the Capitol to watch Governor Gary Herbert lay a wreath for the Vietnam Veterans Recognition Day. Organizers say the event is to honor those who served during a difficult time in our nation's history.
For the sacrifices, lots of times that the families underwent for those separations, and for those depicted on this wall behind me that never returned.
This wasn't the only memorial available to Utahns, as there were 2 more held in Layton and Washington County.
Cache Valley Cruising Association might not have their parade on Main Street after this summer. ATV's Bobby Russell tells us about the funding disagreement the Cruising Association is having with the city.
Classic cars drive on Main Street in the summer of 2015. Main Street is owned by the Utah Department of Public Transportation.
The city does not control Main Street at all.
Dane says the cost of closing Main Street is getting too expensive for the city.
So we have to ask officers to sign up for overtime. We have to pay them overtime. So it's not just as part of their regular salary. It's a direct out-of-pocket overtime cost.
This parade is a solution to an old problem.
Cruisers used to mix with traffic, like what I'm trying to do right now.
Any police around Cache Valley, they would get them to come here because it was so crazy.
Until the city came to the creators of this parade for a solution.
Logan City and the police department, they came to us to find out what we could do to calm everything down.
The city says they want the Cruising Association to pay for their police help to make it fair for other clubs.
Kind of need to equalize the events in the city.
This event isn't what brings in money for the Cruising Association.
It takes every bit of money to put on the next year's show.
I'm hoping people buy a ticket and go support them down there and also enjoy the parade, because the ticket revenue is what helps support their event.
That was Bobby Russell reporting. Dane said that she is still working with the Cruising Association to figure out a plan for the parade in July next year.
A University of South Carolina student was murdered when she mistook a stranger's vehicle for her Uber driver, according to Columbia Police. Here are steps you can take to be safer when using ride-sharing services. We pulled 5 of Uber's tips for when you are using ride-sharing services. 1. Request your ride inside. Wait for your driver inside, and try not to stand alone outside. 2. Get in the right car. Make sure that the driver's photo and name match what is on the app, and also check the license plate to see that it matches. 3. Be a backseat rider. Keep personal space between you and your driver, and if you are riding alone, it allows you to exit on either side of the car while avoiding traffic if needed. 4. Share your trip details with a friend. You can share your trip status in the app with friends or family members so they can track your location. And 5, follow your intuition. Trust your senses, and if you feel you are in an emergency, call 911.
You know, having used Uber a few times myself, I feel like it's a pretty safe service. You just have to pay attention to what you're doing.
For sure. I mean, I've used it a lot when I'm down in Salt Lake, and I feel like I'm pretty safe when I do it. So hopefully we don't see a lot of these things happen.
Anyway, coming back, I have weather for you. The current temperature in town is 53 degrees right now.
And Baby Animal Day starts today. See how these little guys are taken care of.
This kind of messages give us like a relief.
The Interfaith Initiative reached out to the Islamic community in Logan, found out how you can support your Muslim neighbors.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Are females the future of agriculture? A famous ag professor thinks so. ATV's Corinne LaRue tells us why.
Some people picture the typical farmer to be a man in overalls with a pitchfork. Less than 20 years ago, that wasn't so far from the truth. But in today's agriculture industry, more women are filling classrooms, fields, and farms than ever before.
At the time I started, most of my classmates were all male. Now, when I go into journalism schools, almost all of the students are female.
Female journalists aren't the only ones breaking the stereotypes. Teachers and researchers are too, and they've been doing it for over 40 years.
Well, it was difficult for me in the 70s, being a girl in a man's industry. When I first started out, there were no women working in the feed yards with the cattle. The women were all in the office doing secretarial work.
Females have been breaking through gender stereotypes for hundreds of years, but for some USU students, that challenge is something they face every day.
I grew up in agriculture. My family has a cattle ranch in Nevada. I was always kind of brought up to believe that I could do anything the boys could do, but I've definitely heard stories of girls that they've been judged to be a little bit less than, or maybe that they can't do as much as the boys.
You can't have it. These females have some advice for you about overcoming challenges in the agriculture world.
You do your best to be informed, to make sure that you are engaging with a wide variety of people, not just the ones who have your beliefs, but other beliefs, and you'll have unlimited opportunities.
You're able to overcome that based on your experiences and what you like to do and what you're good at, and don't be afraid to show that and get out there and be courageous.
You make yourself so good at some specialized area that you're going to be the go-to person. That's what you need to do.
Next week, Corinne LaRue will have another story about the Temple Grandin's journey, but next time she's going to be talking about dairy cows.
The Interfaith Initiative is a group that brings different religions together through community support. This week, the Islamic community was receiving their support. Paige Mendes was there to find out what that support looks like.
Here on 6th East in Logan, a few dozen people stood in the rain with signs of hope for their Muslim neighbors. The words on the poster may have started running, but the message was still clear.
This kind of incidents, when it happens, it makes us fear a little bit. But when we go outside and see people with this kind of signs, this kind of messages give us like a relief.
After showing support outside, it was time to go inside for Friday prayer.
Please join us.
Then they listened to a sermon about faith, kindness, and love.
Remember that victory comes with patience, relief comes after distress, and ease always comes after hardship.
The Interfaith Initiative did this in response to the attacks that happened in Christchurch, New Zealand on March 15th.
The Muslims who attended Friday prayer said the support from the Interfaith Initiative helps them feel secure and that their group is a loved part of this Cache Valley community.
With this support of the community, I really feel that I am safe and I can practice my belief, my religion without being afraid.
And they say it gives them hope that more people will.
Get out and engage in dialogue with people that are different from you, that are part of traditions or faith traditions that you're not familiar with. Then you'll start to see those traditions not as a threat, but as a blessing on our community, making it more diverse. They need to be shown that we love them and that we want them here and that we value their voices in our communities. I hope that we were able to show that today.
Paige Mendez, ATV News.
The Islamic Center volunteers say that anyone is welcome at their center and invite you to go to events like the first public lecture they have coming up this month. Information on that can be found on our Facebook page.
Baby Animal Days is happening this week. ATV's Christy Auken takes you to the American West Heritage Center to see how they take care of all the animals, big and small.
It's time to eat for these dairy calves.
Do you want to do the one in the middle?
And they are thirsty for their milk bottles.
We give them a bottle twice a day, and then they have hay available to them as well, because they'll start to chew on it and learn how to eat the grass. For the most part, they're milk drinkers until they get a little bit older.
Same goes for the baby goats and lambs.
You don't need a whole lot to feed lambs. Their stomachs aren't very big, and so they've made nipples that fit right on a soda bottle, so it's really simple to do.
Getz says the center's goal is to teach people the purpose of each animal.
Cows are multiple use. You get your milk, your meat, and hides out of them. Horses, they're a work tool. They help you move your animals. They get you from place to place. Your chickens, you get eggs from them. You can use them for meat, and even their feathers.
Even peacocks.
Their main purpose is for bug control. They do quite well with that, and they're really pretty to look at. We're getting separated from the farm. There's a lot of people who don't get to have the hands-on experience with animals. The most they might see is a cat or a dog. And the farm is it's an interesting place. It pulls in people, and it kind of takes you back to your roots.
Christy Auken, ATV News.
You can see these animals along with baby bears at the American West Heritage Center starting today through Saturday.
Have you ever seen an accident on Main Street? Logan City Police Department says Main Street is one of the most dangerous streets in Utah.
I was just sitting in my car waiting in a red light, and split second I just looked up in my mirror and just saw a truck ran into my back end.
Accidents like this are not uncommon on Main Street. Main Street is a merging point for 3 state highways.
Those 3 sections are in the top 10 in the state for being the most dangerous. Not so much that the accidents are severe, it's just that there's a vast amount of accidents per square mile.
Randall says accidents are most likely caused by distracted driving, and people need to be more aware of their surroundings.
We need everyone's eyes up front. We want everyone to give space, and just because there's a light doesn't make the intersection safe.
Ariana Piper, ATV News.
Logan City Police are trying to pass a hands-free bill, but the state legislature has yet to approve it. And Ed Collins joins us for this week's weather forecast. How's it looking?
Thanks, Zach. And speaking of Main Street, I can't help but think that walking along that street with all the rain and stuff we've been having, you really want to keep back from those gutters, because if a car drives along and splashes you, you're not going to be in for a good time there. So just a friendly tip for you guys.
I don't think any of us want to go out there and get splashed with water. I mean, all of us wearing suits. It looked pretty good. We don't want to get wet.
Well, that's awesome. Anyway, I'm going to move on to our national radar here. And taking a look at Nebraska, they're still getting a lot of rain. As many of you may know, they have been devastated by floods in the last few months or so. And moving on to our state radar now. From just about everywhere in northern Utah, similar conditions to what you're seeing in Logan. And I'm going to show you some highlights now from our 7-day forecast. Today, Wednesday, we're going to have a high of 53. We're experiencing that right about now with a low of 37. 50% chance of thunderstorms tonight, so be aware of that. Make sure you stay safe. And moving on to Friday, things are going to stay pretty similar in the next couple of days. There's a 40% chance of rain, snow mix with a lot of cloud cover. Temperatures are going to go up a little bit to 58 and come up just 1 degree from today to 38. Moving on to Saturday, your forecast is going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot more precipitation coming on Saturday, snow, rain mix. Not a whole lot of sunlight, 80% chance of that with a high of 50. But the rest of your week should not be as wet. And moving on back to the desk. You guys, you might want to look out for a lot more worms on the sidewalk. It's not going to be too pretty in terms of watching your step, and maybe you might want to think about getting some fresh windshield wipers.
Well, thanks for the weather report, Ed. Erdi, we had a big week in sports. What was going on?
Yeah, I have some exciting things to show you. Coming up,
here everything's bigger.
I
mean, the courts are better, everything.
The men's tennis team has athletes from around the world. We'll show you how they're coming together for success.
We'll show you why these students are throwing socks at zombies.
Students in biological engineering at Utah State University have the unique chance through the Synthetic Biomanufacturing Institute to engineer uses for spider silk. Projects developed in the lab include medical coatings, strong adhesives, and elastic woven fibers. These Aggies from Utah State are influencing and changing the face of biological engineering. Join them and leave your mark as well.
Welcome to ATV Sports. I'm Arity Engel, and I'm here with Riley Plogger from Aggie Softball, and we're just going to get to know her a little bit better today. Riley, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. So I heard that you're from California. What brings you all the way to Utah?
I was recruited out here to play softball and fell in love with the area, way different from where I grew up, so it was a change of pace, and like I said, just fell in love with it, so I decided to take the leap and move out here.
So did you start here your freshman year? Because you're a junior right now, right?
Yeah, I've been here all 3 years.
Great. So California, you guys probably get to practice outside all season. What's it like being in Utah with the winters and trying to practice? Is that an adjustment for you?
It's a bit of a struggle a little bit. It's been definitely an adjustment going to practicing indoors. And I've never done a tarp pull before, but we tarp our field for the weather, and so I've never experienced that. But that's been a new experience. It's been an adjustment, but I'm glad to gain new experiences, so it's good.
And the team, are they like a family? How do they get along?
Yeah, we definitely are a family. I have my best friends on that team. I have made friendships that will last me a lifetime and will be bridesmaids for me and stuff like that. So I am very blessed to be on this team and have this dynamic because we are truly sisters, and it's an awesome dynamic.
And moving on to more of the softball-focused questions. So I heard that you almost got a cycle recently. Can you tell us about like what a cycle is and like how difficult that is to do that?
Yeah, so a cycle is when you hit a single, a double, a triple, and a home run all in one game. And I was just a triple shy of having the cycle, so I had a home run, double, and single. And it's very difficult, and especially going up that last at bat, knowing that you're just shy of one. You want to try and hit it, or it's can be tempting to try and go for that, but it's very difficult. And the triple is always the hardest one to get, so it can be difficult, but it's pretty cool when it does happen.
Are you going to try again, like in a game in the future, to do that?
Hopefully, yes. Hopefully, that's the goal.
As one of the upperclassmen on the team, what do you think your role is as a leader? Or what do you think of your role as a leader?
Yeah, I definitely think as a leader, I'm very comfortable with my voice. I'm very comfortable being outspoken and speaking up. So I think that's definitely been my role this year on this specific team, has been being more of a vocal leader and speaking up in situations where I need to, or situations where I feel comfortable, because some people may not feel as comfortable speaking up or being as vocal. So luckily that is one of my strengths. So I've been really trying to use that as a leader on this team.
And is there a game that you look forward to each year? And if so, which one is it?
Yeah, oh gosh, that's so hard to choose. I mean, they're all are exciting. You know what, every single year a different team, comes back and we're evenly matched. Definitely every year it's a different team that we're really evenly matched with. I really this year especially, we look forward to Boise. They're Mountain West champs last year, and so we look forward to that opportunity, kind of knock them off the pedestal and, kind of get revenge for last year. But definitely something I know I personally look forward to every year is BYU. It's always a good game. It's always the fans come out and everybody, in Aggie gear wants to see us just beat BYU into the ground. And so I love the atmosphere in the stadium for those games. So that definitely is one of my favorites.
And you guys had an away game this past weekend, and you said you kind of lost your voice from all the yelling and stuff. How did that go?
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
We didn't do too well against Colorado State, but I will say this as the outcome did not portray how well we played. We played really well. We were in it every single inning. We were hitting extremely well. Our energy was high. Yeah, I lost my voice because we were screaming and hollering, and the energy was off the charts in that dugout. So unfortunately, the outcome wasn't the best for us, but it does not portray the way we played, and we came together this weekend really well.
And moving forward with the season, what is your expectation for that?
Yeah, I think especially going off this weekend, we feel really good. You know, our record doesn't really portray, like I said, how we're feeling right now. So we feel good, and we're ready to go in the rest of the season. Just keep bringing it, and it's going to start. Things are going to start falling our way. We know it, and we feel it, and we believe in it. So.
Well, thanks for stopping by. Again, this is Riley Plogger, and you can catch them in their next game on Friday at 4 versus New Mexico. With a win against San Diego State last Friday, the Aggie men's tennis team is off to a perfect start in the Mountain West Conference. Ed Collins looked into what makes this championship-winning team so unique.
That is what it sounds like when a serve is too fast and too accurate for an opponent to return it. And that is what one of those serves looks like. Fans and teammates watch the Aggies cruise to another victory. Practice sessions like this one let the team work on fundamentals. And if you pay attention, you'll hear how diverse this team is.
This is my first time living outside of Mexico. Of course, I miss a lot my parents sometimes, but I think I'm more independent, and I want to start my own life, you know, and I think that's the most important thing for me.
These Aggies come from as far as India and as near as Colorado. The average distance between Logan and their hometowns is over 4,000 miles. To give you an idea of how far that is, a straight line from Logan to New York City is only about 3,000 miles. Coach Wilson says that smart recruiting has been a key to his team's success.
Tennis is an international sport. We have to find guys that are deep inside the cave, as you would say. We just worked hard and tried to find the right guys that are good guys, that work hard, that play for the team.
A team where some players have been representing their nations for years.
I still representing Argentina. I love my country, I love my culture, and now I love playing for the team, of course.
The team also gives some players a second chance to keep playing.
I got my associate degree and I wanted to keep playing tennis. Here everything is bigger. I mean, the courts are better, everything, athletic-wise.
And Coach Wilson plans to make his team better than ever.
Our further goal, I would say, is to be top 25 in the country, to win a round in the NCAA tournament, and that's kind of the mindset that this team has. I feel like they're definitely striving for that.
Ed Collins, ATV Sports.
The team's next home match is scheduled for 3 p.m. this Friday at the Sports Academy and Racket Club. You're all caught up on sports this week. Back to you, Zach.
Thanks, Arity. And it looks like zombies have invaded USU this week as part of USU's Humans vs. Zombies game. Michael Kay gives you a look into what this zombie invasion is.
Zombies have invaded USU as part of a campus-wide game.
Humans vs. Zombies is a week-long game of zombie tag where one person starts out as a zombie and slowly infects the entire population of our game.
The game has smaller missions during the day, but during the night, the missions become more intense.
Night missions can range from everything from capture the flag to capture the base, to hold off all the zombies until they overwhelm you or until the night mission is over.
I enjoy playing with zombie more because there's that thrill of the hunt that you get into and trying to track down other players I find is a lot more fun than trying to plot a route between classes.
Human or zombie, students playing agree that
there's space for everyone here as long as you're willing to put up with some of the crazy stuff that we do.
I came here for an education, and I stayed because of Humans vs. Zombies.
Michael Kay, ATV News.
For more about Humans vs. Zombies or to join the game, you can find a link to them on our Facebook page.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of ATV News.
Catch all the latest editions of ATV News on our Facebook page.
We'll leave you with a misty shot of the mountains.